Okay, and we're live. This TikTok looks okay. YouTube, it's a little bit dark. To be honest, I don't know why. I've got two lamps in my face right here, so but it's a little bit dark. I'm sorry for that. I also have a candle lit, but anyway. Today we're going to talk about how to find out who your ideal client is as a witchy entrepreneur. Okay. This is not just going to be about magical shit. There's going to be some psychology in this. And by some, I mean quite a bit. Because if there's one fucking thing I like, it's digging into psychology to solve some problems, no matter what the problem is. Here's the deal. People will get on here and tell you, oh, your ideal client, you gotta speak to your ideal client. So you need to say blah, blah. You need to say exactly what she wants to hear. You need to speak to her. You need to blah, blah, blah. No one wants to go into detail. I've had a dozen damn business coaches, not a one. No offense to them. They all served me well and did what they could for me. But I'm going to tell you right now, not a one went into detail with me and did the deep dive into my psyche to help me figure out who my damn ideal client is. I don't know why I haven't heard about this. I don't know why I haven't heard a solution from anybody yet, but I'm going to give you the damn solution now, period. Your ideal client, when you are running your business and trying to figure out who the fuck it is you want to serve, it doesn't matter what your business is. It doesn't matter what it is. You started your business because you want to solve a problem, and it's a problem that you were able to relate to at one point, hence starting your business, because you don't want to see anybody else suffer the way you did. So therefore, you're providing something that you have figured out how to do. Your ideal client is the old you before you solved your problem that you now serve other people with. Your ideal client is the old you. Ta-da! Mystery solved. Here's the deal. How many business coaches have you had who will sit there and say, okay, you got to talk to your ideal client. You got to say exactly what she wants to hear. And you're sitting there struggling because you don't know what to say. And then you still can't figure it out, or you're stumbling, or you can't seem to put your finger on it. And then you just feel dumb because you can't do, you think you can't do it. You've got yourself under the impression you can, but you can't come up with the right thing. And then you just feel stupid. And then you feel inadequate. And then you feel like, well, hell, why am I doing this anyway? You know, there's so much psychology behind all of this shit. And then business coaches will also tell you, oh yeah, there's so much psychology in selling. You got to know how to speak to them. There's a lot of psychology with buyers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, with buyers. Yeah, sure. Great. That's not what we give a shit about around here. The psychology that I care about when it comes to running a business is you running your own business and you figuring yourself out so that you can run your business well, because you know your own damn psychology. You don't need to know the damn psychology of the person who's buying and shopping around looking at your page. They'll buy it or they won't. If they do, good. If they don't, fine. They'll move on and somebody else fucking will. It doesn't matter. We're not sales psychology, hell. For what? No, your psychology, you. So if you're sitting there trying to figure out, okay, now who do I want to speak to? Who's my ideal client? Who am I gonna talk to? Who do I address this to? And you can't come up with the words, or something doesn't sound right, or you think it sounds good, and then 30 minutes later you go back and read it, or a day later you go back and read it, and you're like, it sounds like shit. That's not what I want to say at all. And delete. The reason for that is because you haven't gone far enough within into yourself, period. We know as mystical people that if you want to figure out yourself, you have to do a deep dive into you in order to be able to reflect out the shit you want to reflect out, and to be able to express yourself clearly and put your energy out there in a very clear, good, healthy way, and everything like that. And you can't do it if you don't know yourself well enough. This is where we start getting into psychology, not anything else. There's no magic trick to it. It's not luck. It's not anything else. It's just you figure out, you go back and look at yourself and look at the old you and say, okay, now what kind of shape was I in when I was struggling and hadn't figured out how to do spiritual healing or whatever it is that you do, back when you need it, let's say, for example, you're putting together your website and you're typing up a description for a reel or something like that. And you say, okay, now how do I express to my ideal client what this cord cutting does? Well, I want you to go back to time in your life, in your mind. I want you to travel backwards and get in touch with the version of you that desperately needed a real good solid ass cord cutting. What did that version of you need? What was that version of you thinking about? What was that version of you wishing for real bad? If you could go back and talk to the old you before she got her spiritual cleanse, go back and visit her like she's a totally separate person. Ask her, because she kind of is a totally separate person, but we'll get to that later. Ask her, your old self, look at her and say, what do you really want? What is it that you really want real bad right now to feel better about your situation? Go into meditation and do this if you need to. If that's how if that's your style of getting answers, do that. It's fine. It doesn't matter how you do it. But I'm just saying, somewhere in your mind, go back and visit this old you and say, what do you really want? And let her use simple, plain, everyday language that any woman like her would understand. Plain old, to the point. It's all right if it's vulgar. That doesn't matter. Just to the point, plain and simple. You go back and you say, okay, so I know you feel like you're really hanging on to some sludge, some energetic sludge. So what do you really want with that? What's the number one thing you want? And she's going to say, I want to set down this heavy luggage and move the fuck on like a new person, like I am just completely new inside and out. I want to set this heavy shit down because it shouldn't be mine to carry. It's too heavy. I don't like it. I'm going to set it down and just continue and live my life for me for fucking once. Let's use that as an example. You go back to your old self and that's what she says. And then she gets her cord cutting and then she's, all better pretty much. She gets your cord cutting. So that's where your mind needs to be. When you go into your mind and ask yourself those questions and ask your old self what it is she would have wanted, or like you're in the present, ask her what she wants. You're going to write down word for word exactly what she says. Write it down. Let her be plain, to the point, crystal clear, all the rest of it. And let her say exactly what needs to be said, exactly how she feels, exactly what she wants. If she cusses real bad, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Just let her say it. Let her say what she really wants to say. Write it down. So that when you turn around and do your content and do your reels or do your whatever you're going to be doing, or typing up the description on your website for your offer, you're going to include, and keep it short and sweet. Don't drag it out. This doesn't need to be too. When I started out and I was like putting offers on my website and shit, I'd have like 2 fucking paragraphs. It made no sense. Like, get to the point, so don't do that. But when you are writing up the description for your service, or you're doing a description for a reel or whatever the fuck it is, just include that sentence that you got from your old self when you asked her what is it that you really want? Put it in there. Just put it in there. Just do it. As you do that, the people who read that and say, oh my God, shit, yeah. The ones who really and truly vibe with it and really and truly feel what you're saying, feel every word that you're saying, those women are going to jump right into all your offers. They're going to, because now you're speaking to them, and you didn't have to figure them out. People will tell you that it's selling psychology and sales psychology is all about understanding what your client is shopping for and stuff like that, and how to say the right things to get them to buy and blah blah. You don't need to say the right thing to get them to buy. That sounds conniving. You need to speak to your old self, because your old self is still walking around out there. Might be a different face and different name, but damn it, let me tell you, it's a reflection of your old self, and she needs your help. She is waiting for you to pop up and just say it, to just say the right thing. But you don't have if your business coach is doing the right thing with you, you shouldn't, then you should know how to do it, and you shouldn't have to be stuck sitting there for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or a whole day trying to figure out how to write one damn description for an Instagram reel to try to figure out how to say the right things that someone will buy. That's not where your mind needs to be at all. But let me tell you, I've been around some fucking bro marketing that did tell me that. Well, you need to figure out how to say the right thing to get them to buy. You need to make it sound like it. And bro marketing is worse. Their shit is like, oh, you need to make it sound like it's urgent. You need to make it sound like it's scarce, and the opportunity won't be there for very long to work with you, or this discount won't be there for very long, blah, blah. That's the wrong type of shit. Scarcity mindset is not going to get you the kind of client you want. The client you want is going to be someone who is ready to do the work, ready for the journey, ready for whatever it is you have to offer, and loves what you have to offer, and is someone who will appreciate what you're doing, and is not going to bitch about the price or whine about, oh, well, how come the discount ended yesterday? Why can't you just extend it for me today, or whatever, some shit like that. No one who is shopping for solutions like that, oh, well, what happened to the discount? Anyone who talks like that or is thinking about that is not someone who really needs to be working with you, because that's somebody who's looking for something cheap. They're looking to get a deal. Someone who's looking to get a cheap deal, a quick fix, or a discount like that is not someone who's looking for a real solution. There are broke people out there who need a real solution, hell yeah, but there are buyers who already have the money and they're not worried about money. They want you to help them make the little tiny tweaks they need to make to get what it is they want in the end. But the journey is fine. The journey is the important part for somebody who wants to take your work seriously and just hand you money, because that's where the information is, that's where the growth is, and that's where the solution is in the journey, not in the tail end of it. So you have to pay attention to the kind of questions you get. Like if you get online and you do a reel or something, and then you get all these people in your inbox saying, oh, yeah, that's cool. What other offers do you have? Do you have anything that's like, cheaper than that? Or are you doing any discounts? Or are you going to do a Black Friday deal? Or blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit stuff. Those are people who are going to do like a one and done too. They won't come back. That's not somebody who's willing to that's not somebody who's able, whether they're willing or not, that's not someone who's able to make the investment to do to create a long-term solution for themselves by listening to what you say. That's someone who's just looking for a deal. If they need a deal when they're shopping, they need to go to the thrift store, not you. You're not here to make sure somebody can get your awesome ass service or your awesome ass solution, for $20. That's not how, we're not doing that here. And the reason we're not doing that is because your shit's worth more than that. My shit's worth more than that. If you care enough about your business, which I know you do, your prices don't need to be slashed, for one person who just is more worried about what they're paying as opposed to what's included. There are people that will tell you that the two main kinds of shoppers are someone is you've got one person who's going to say, well, how much is that? Well, no, we'll see. And they can't justify the amount that they are being asked to pay for something. They can't justify it. And that's somebody who goes without or doesn't know how to invest, or doesn't think themselves worthy of the investment and paying the price they're being asked to pay. They don't think they're even worth it, and they sure don't think you're worth it, which is why they'll say, well, how much is it? That's the wrong question. You want to hear that. And if you do, then that person, be kind to them, just say, well, the price is this. It's not, I'm not doing a Christmas deal. It's just this. Good luck. it's all right to be that way because another fucking buyer has plenty of money and is looking for you, but you just need to speak to her and you are speaking to your old self. So when you go inside yourself and ask yourself questions, ask your old self from the past these questions about what it is you want, what it is you truly want. You are learning how to speak from your heart to hers. Another thing people don't realize is that they do buy based on emotions, and they do buy. If you want to talk about sales psychology, I mean, yeah, we can get into that, but they buy based on how they want to feel. Not just women, men do it too. They'll tell you they don't, but it doesn't matter because they do. They actually do. Everyone does because they're getting something to make them feel differently than what they do at the moment. They're trying to feel better. They're buying clothes because it feels good. They're buying whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Their favorite food. They don't need ice cream. They're buying it because they know how they're going to feel as soon as it hits their tongue. Good. They're going to feel good. That's what they're going for. Alcohol, everything else, cigarettes, everything that sells like that just like sells up the wazoo, that's based on feelings. It's not a necessity. They don't need it, but they're buying it because they want it. And they want what it gives them at the tail end. And the journey getting there is fine. Getting in the car, going to the store, going to that aisle, picking it out, going up to the register, blah, blah, blah. The journey is neither here nor there. The person who knows they're going to buy it for a certain solution or for a certain feeling at the end isn't worried about the journey getting there. That part's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter whether they're going to drive or somebody's going to run the errand for them and they have to sit and wait, or they're going to take the bus down there. That's it. No one gives a shit about that. It's what they want at the end, and they're fine with the journey. That's who you want your buyer to be. Someone who gets there and says, okay, yeah, the price it's fine. I need it. Whatever. Take it. Take the money. Who gives a shit? I'm gonna make more anyway. That's who you want in your circle. So knowing who to speak to, there's two things here. Knowing who to speak to, which is your old self. And like, let's say we're going to do a reel, an Instagram reel. I'll tell you a secret. I don't necessarily like Instagram that much. I'm on there because I have to be. I really don't like it. I'm not on Instagram, but more than a few minutes a day because I just don't like it. I never have done. Anyway, so there's two things about this. You're doing an Instagram reel, for example. You write the description and you're speaking to your ideal client who is the old you, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. So the other part is in the reel itself, in the video or picture, whichever, if you're doing a regular post, it doesn't matter. But in the images, you're going to be showing this person, your favorite client, what their life looks like, what their life will look like and will feel like once they go through the journey with you. And once they have their solution at the end, what it looks like, what life could look like for them. Your old self, let's say, for example, she wants peace. Her situation, she needs the core cutting, right? So she wants peace after that. In your reel or pictures, whichever, you're going to show how peaceful life can be after that is done, after the job is done. Her result is going to be what's in the pictures and in the reel. And then speaking to her heart is going to be the words you use in the description down below. So she's going to be reading it. That's going to hit a certain part of her brain where you read shit. And then she's going to look at the reel again and watch it twice just to really soak it in. And she's going to sit there and think, yeah, man, that's what I want my fucking life to look like. Hell yeah. Fuck it. Add to cart. And that's it. It's a done deal. That's how you do it. And it's not about, there's no bro marketing shit here where you are expected. And I had him tell me this too in the beginning. Let me tell you, they'll probably sue me for this, but I got my first like actual, quote unquote coaching lessons from the coaching masters. They're not bad. It's just like, I just wish it could have been a little bit different, but they didn't really go into a whole lot that I wish we could have. A lot of topics I wish we could have explored. It just would have been nice, but they did say something along the lines of, well, you got to reach out, you have to message people, and you have to. There was two things that's coming to my mind right now that just didn't fucking work. Messaging people out of the blue to just start offering shit, which makes. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. The egg doesn't chase the sperm. Okay, I'm not doing that. You want it, you come and get it. You want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way to get it. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, the other thing that I didn't like that was suggested was, and coaching masters weren't the only ones who said this either, but the other thing is, some business coaches will tell you to follow pages that offer the same kind of thing that you offer, so that you can get amongst their clientele in the comments, and talk to their clients in the comments and their followers in the comments, and be like, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. Have you ever thought about doing it in this kind of way? And then the goal is to make them curious. The people in their comments, their followers, make their followers curious about your page, and to see why yours is different. And then they go to your page, and so it's like you're on the hunt. Women aren't supposed to be on the goddamn hunt for shit, for nothing. It doesn't work that way. Feminine energetics don't fucking work that way with anything. It's not supposed to. The egg doesn't chase the sperm. It just doesn't. Science says that I don't have to do that. And I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not made for that. So instead, you just do what you do naturally. The idea instead is to do what you do naturally, put it out there, and whoever understands it and appreciates it will show up. And if there's someone who looks at you and your work and says, that's somebody who thinks that they can't get away with what the fuck you're doing. And that's why they scoff at you, by the way. That's why they disapprove of you. It's because they think they can't fucking do what you're doing, and they're scared to death. Don't get me started on all the shit I've seen throughout my life of women trying to cut me down and shit like that. Well, Miranda, you really shouldn't do that, because why? Pray tell me, because everything hinges on what you say. Like there's always some bitch like that. Just ignore them. They're everything dumb that people do comes from fear. It comes from fucking fear. All the stupid shit they say, all of the times they try to correct you or get you to do what they want, or anything like that isn't helpful. It's coming from fear. That's all it is. And in that particular case, that kind of shit is coming from a fear that they have of you doing better than them and looking better than them. So instead of working on themselves and being the way they really want to be and being fucking authentic about their shit, they're just trying to cut you down. But who gives a damn about their opinion? Do what you want to do authentically and naturally, and really and truly just be yourself and present yourself to the world the way you really are. And the motherfuckers who vibe with you will show up, and they will pay you and get in all your damn offers, because you're speaking to them, directly to your ideal client. And there's a lot of her out there, not just one. There's a lot of old yous out there. There's a lot of people out there who are feeling the way you used to feel. So this world is too damn big to sit there and think, you're not going to get enough clients. You're not going to get enough people. You're not going to make sales. You're not going to, this world's too big for that. But you have to, if you're going to do this right, and if you're going to be authentic, you have to go within. And that is the main message of how I do my business and how I teach is to be as authentic as possible and just be you, to the fullest degree, to the fullest extent. And when you do that, you will just attract people who vibe with you and understand you and appreciate you and want to be in your work and want to be in your world and want to taste all the offers you have and dive right in because they know it's good shit. And they know it's good because you spoke right to them, because you spoke right to your old self, and your old self has many twins running around. All of us do. It's interesting when you get online, and you go to somewhere like Reddit or something like that, and you read what people say, especially Reddit, because people are so honest on Reddit, which I kind of appreciate. You get on there and you can go to anything on there and read about people complaining about certain things, about how they feel about something. And there will be people who feel exactly the way you used to feel. They're out there. And in fact, you can do that even to get some ideas on what to say. If you're really stuck, if you're really and truly stuck, experiment a little bit and go out there and see what other people are saying. And when you find someone who speaks to you like in a way that you would have needed a long time ago, your old you, do that. Explore until you find it. Sometimes you might have a blockage. It's all right. You might have a mental block for a day or something. Go out there and see what somebody else is saying and see what feels right and build on that. So what? You're still speaking from the heart. It's just you needed someone else to help you out with some of the words just to get the ball rolling. That's fine. There's no limitations here. Witches don't do rules. I don't anyway. I certainly don't. But that's just to get you going in the right direction with who to speak to. So 27 minutes. Look, it's long enough. You've done great. You're doing great. You're going to be doing even greater. Just keep going. Don't give up. You're in the right room. We're going to do this. Your business is going to take off. Just don't give up on yourself and just be real. Be authentic. I've got a lot more content and good shit coming your way. So stay tuned and I'll see you on the other side.